very much for your welcome. And today is a very, very special day of celebration. And it's also very timely because this is the second National Windrush Day. So the coincidence is a very, very happy one.
Yes.
The poem I'm going to read is actually not from Crossing Borders, but I was thinking, what can I possibly contribute? And a friend of mine said, look, there's that poem you read years ago, Emergency Outfit. And I had a look at it and I thought, needs a lot of work. So I sat down, edited it, and anyway. But first of all, I want to congratulate the dynamic Books2Africa team and their dedicated helpers and supporters in having gathered, parceled, dispatched and distributed more than 1 million books to educational institutions the length and breadth of the African continent. And all this within the short time span of, what is it, 4 years, am I right? 4 years? Or am I?
About 5-6 years.
Sorry, 5-6 years, an amazing achievement. Now, as an Oyibo, as a white person, because sometimes we are forced, for historical reasons, to use these terms, I want to make this point. For too many centuries, too many countries, old Blighty, prominent among them, have seized and exploited Africa's peoples and abundant natural resources on a scale of stupendous astronomical proportions. Giving back to those from whom we have seized, appropriated, and misappropriated so much should surely be considered as a move in the direction of restorative justice. Thirdly, having lived and worked in Zambia and Nigeria, I have on numerous occasions been the recipient of spontaneous, inclusive generosity. And so the following narrative poem celebrates this aspect of traditional African hospitality. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this poem with you. Emergency Outfit for Grace Sibedu, who made it. Thank you. And the guardian angel elder who made its making possible. The hotel receptionist, elderly benign, sustained a refrain of regretful sighs and polite exclamations of commiseration at the traveller's tale of luggage, conference papers, toiletries and clothes conjured into mystery disappearance between departure from Lagos and arrival in Ghanaian capital. Deprived of her precious load, she had retraced her flight path, searched in vain the subterranean recesses of Murtala Mohammed Airport, and directed in defeat, found herself lodged in a Maryland hotel for the night, before early morning return flight to Accra and the Cape Coast Conference, innocent cause of her predicament and woes. There she stood, weary-limbed, frustrated, stale with the sweat of travel and tension, before the fatherly figure performing his role on duty at reception, a sympathetic, lean-limbed Baba, bestowing on her still youthful exasperation the calming benediction of his plea for patience. Even the pleasure of cleansing ablutions was peevishly prohibited and denied, for some evil genie of unknown origin had sentenced her to indefinite imprisonment in clothes pungent with the odor of tedious travel in tropical clime. To him, it mattered not that she was Oyibo, in appearance affluent white. To this sympathetic elder, she was a daughter, troubled, tired, exhausted, whom the gods had placed in his patient hands, charged to effect a measure of relief, lower her level of acute distress. Investigation soon revealed she worked in Port Harcourt, the city where one of his sisters lived, Ah, there could be no doubt. Spirits were at work. Encouraged by ancestral voices from home, they had guided her steps for the purpose of testing the measure of his devotion to time-honored customs and traditions in Lagos City, where poverty and greed could transform newcomers with indecent speed into career criminals, flashy, fearsome, or weary, waged workers paid a pittance. And so he turned his back on fatigue, postponing his well-deserved rest and respite at the end of a long day's routine shift, to lead her with expert smiling calm through the early evening, frenzied assortment of wheeled machines clogging manic Lagos motorways with spluttering sporadic toxic speed, before guiding her, chaperoning her, along dusty, sun-soaked back streets, until triumphant, he stood with his charge in front of the familiar cramped sewing shed of his kinswoman, standing outside alone, locking her door, preparing to go home, to whom he made urgent, eloquent requests on behalf of the young woman at his side, reassuring her, in turn, that all would go well, for now I leave you in Madame Sibedu's clever, capable hands, willing and ready to create for you an emergency outfit, and so erase those unbecoming frowns from a face I hope to see wearing smiles when I return in a couple of hours. Madame, empathetic, sympathizing, unlocked her door, flung open the shutters, installed her customer guest comfortable inside, let her choose some fabric, while she suggested a style simple but elegant for one soon to take to the skyways again. Curious, some friends stopped to inquire why her fluorescent light burned bright at this hour, taking time to sit and chat for a while with encouraging words for the guest from afar. Not long after one of Grace's friends had remarked, "Our guest surely requires more than kind words to re-energize for the challenges ahead." Bear with me. The shed became a bustling, buzzing centre of female solidarity with the stranger. One mother sent her daughter to fetch refreshing soft drinks from her well-stocked fridge. Another lady arrived with warm chin-chin, crisp and crunchy in enamelled dish. A young girl, smiling shyly, curtsied, offered a bowl of warm water, soap and towel, for the guest to wash her hands, ready to taste and enjoy the fried fish, still warm, she had carried from home, on her mother's instructions, telling the traveller, you go enjoy my mama's cooking well. Yes, indeed, another woman chimed in. Among us, Mrs. Okonkwo is famed for her kindness and culinary skills. And all the while, the guest ate and talked. In the background, the vital work rarely stopped, as the sewing machine rattled and hummed, obedient to the magic of fingertips long tutored in deft motion and touch. While trying on the outfit in the making, one of Grace's visitors laughingly declared herself newly rich in feminine underwear after her sister's shopping spree in the UK, then, somewhat abruptly, disappeared, soon to return, smiling triumphant, an Igbo fairy goddess mother, working her magic with satisfaction, placing a pair of brassiere and underpants discreetly wrapped on the young woman's lap. "They go size you well, of this I am sure," she announced to the recipient, momentary speechless in wonder, surrounded by the practical kindness of women who embraced her, accepted her, as just another sister, mother, daughter. A tap on the shutter brought Grace to the door, where her husband, anxious to learn the reason for his wife's prolonged absence from home, soon left satisfied, smiling support. Since his wife's skills, he readily agreed, were needed that evening as never before, To honour his wife, her customer and friends, he sent a crate full of soft drinks to slake their thirst and speed up the work. With bubu, skirt and head tie neatly pressed and parcelled, ready for departure, her guardian angel soon reappeared at her side, ready to guide and escort her through the dazzle and din of Lagos' frenetic nightlife once again. Taking note of the welcoming smiles on his charge's face, her guide concluded she had shed a good part of her earlier malaise, melancholy, enervating gloom, the very transformation he had been hoping for. And seeing the amity and pleasing warmth between Grace and her customer guest, knew that the foreigner had not been decashed, knew payment made for services rendered had been generous fare, profiteering free. Indeed, Grace had charged her crisis customer a modest sum, for in this venture her chief satisfaction was a job well done. Knowing her skills, her creativity had helped a weary, despondent traveller solve a problem, overcome a difficulty. And if news of this evening's activities travelled fast along familiar gossip trails, her reputation enhanced could, in addition, bring new customers knocking on her door, Grace mused, smiling quietly to herself. And turning to her customer, her words teasing brought laughter to a sweet leave-taking. I never knew I could sow like the wind. This evening is one we will never forget. And so God bless you on your way. May your conference go well. And when they ask you in Cape Coast just how you managed a complete change of clothing, please tell them your emergency outfit is the product of Grace's emergency sewing. And let us remember, without Uncle's help, quick thinking, prompt action, you wouldn't be here. We would never have met. No emergency outfit for you to wear. The fatherly elder was quick to respond. My daughters, the actions I took to help a stranger in need should be considered unexceptional, simply good breeding, a matter of applying best practice according to our ancient customs and traditions. Traditions we have been privileged to share with our British guest and visitor. Customs and traditions too often ignored in the wild struggle for money and power. As the visitor listened, lines from a poem, deep buried, long forgotten, rose insistent to the surface, for it seemed to her that William Blake and this wise elder sang in harmony for common humanity. Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief? On her return to the Maryland Hotel, the guest expressed gratitude to her guide, his reply prompting blushes and laughter on that unforgettable Lagos night. My dear, how could I stand idly by, seeing nasty frowns spoiling a pretty face? Your smiles restored are my recompense. Okay, thank you.
We've shipped 1 million books across 20 African countries.
And we aim to ship 1 million books every year.
This means shipping 50 containers to Africa every year.
Each container is carrying at least 20,000 books. That's 20 tons.
We can fund this by 2,000 people giving £10 a month, or
50 companies who will commit to send one container, and we can send 1 million books every year.